I felt like trying this with the software that came with the cheapy webcam instead of the OBS, because I always have to fix the audio on the OBS. I tried that handbrake thing. Doesn't help me. So that's what ends up taking me so long to get everything put up on YouTube. So I was watching the chat on Friday Night Tights on Nerdrotic's channel with the whole Fandom Menace type gang, and they were talking about Gina Carano and how, you know, great it is what she's done, because they were all big supporters of her and everything. And they brought up something I had thought of earlier. You know, go back to the beginning. What she did when she just went ahead and made this other deal with this Daily Wire, which I don't even like. Like I said, I'm not a conservative and stuff like that. I'm just, you know, an independent thinker. And so I talk about politics a great deal, but I actually hate it. So I don't really go to any of those kind of specialized websites, you know. But I guess it's that Ben Shapiro guys thing, and they're making a deal with her to make a movie, whatever movie she wants to make, I guess, and she's going to develop it and everything. And when I heard that this morning, I was kind of like, because I thought, you know, leading into this last night, after everything that happened, I was hoping that people would support her, and that I don't know, this time I really felt like some of the cancellation could be undone, because it was clear that what they had called her out on wasn't really true. And, you know, but this, going to me, making this deal is kind of making a complete break from Hollywood, and it's the absolute right thing to do. But I got kind of scared for a minute. I was like, you know, because I felt like, but she could still, you know, if she held on, she could, you know, maybe still do something, or people could fight for her and have her brought back, you know. But, you know, it's the exact right thing to do. You know, some of these people, I don't know what kind of money she has. I don't know what she has from her other career, if she, you know, invested well, if she's got enough. But the right thing to do is to free yourself, as she did, and so she doesn't have to worry anymore about what she says and all this stuff like that. And that happens to a lot of people, that, you know, they have to toe the company line in order to keep a lucrative contract. And now that they fired her, she's free, and she's right. But I was just so shocked that she went totally independent, you know, in a way, you know, going with this other group. And it was like, you know, there are other stars they make fun of on Twitter and stuff like that, because they think these people don't they don't have careers, or they don't act. People like Kevin Sorbo, or, you know, Scott Baio, because they are conservative and they're vocal about it, but they think that they don't have anything, you know. People like Kevin Sorbo, he's got all that Hercules money. Those shows are in syndication, so he goes and makes kind of movies that he has integrity about. You know, it's not that he doesn't work. And Scott Baio, he's cut money. Again, syndication gives these people a lot of money. He was on Happy Days. You had Charles in Charge. You know what I mean? He was on Arrested Development. He's not somebody who vanished into thin air. So, you know, a lot of the more conservative people, they've been able to do these other kind of movies, but they're thought of as, you know, not Hollywood people anymore, and they're kind of ridiculed because of it. So when she decided to do this Daily Wire thing, I was like she jumped to that lane. But, you know, all along in this cancel culture, I've been saying to myself, there's enough people that have been canceled at this point. They could start their own studio. Now, the problem is, a lot of the people who got canceled don't agree politically. You know, And some of them probably think the other guy's totally horrible. But I said to myself a long time ago, if Harvey Weinstein could start a studio and make movies with, like, Roman Polanski and Woody Allen and Kevin Spacey, and I mean, these are quality people. These are not, any kind of D-list horrible people, but the kind of people that Hollywood is always trying to shun or, Me Too them out of existence. And I've been saying for a long time, why don't they all just team up, and make a studio and just make really good things, not, anything to make fun of or not anything that people would not want to see. I mean, yeah, the people who will come out with their torches will come out with torches, but who cares about them anymore? Make movies for people who don't want to have torches. They just still want to just watch good films and stuff like that. But, to this time that hasn't happened, but there are enough people. I didn't ever go to his website but I believe Louis C.K., before any of this stuff, used to do his own thing, and I think he made some kind of special or something where he just put it up on his own website and charged people like $5. I mean, once you know how to do things, once you know how to produce content, there's no reason why, if you have a buttload of money, that you shouldn't do your own thing. And this is what the guys in the chat were bringing up, because they were like, why don't they do that? And it was something, like I said, I had thought of that before with, my idea for the new Harvey Weinstein studio. He could run from jail. But, it's just, it's been done. I mean, years and years and years ago. United Artists, if you might remember, I know I first saw the title United Artists, the little UA symbol used to start at the beginning, used to turn at the beginning of the Rocky movies for United Artists, because that was the studio. And I mean, by that time, I think it was a bigger studio, but it had started because way back in the day, I don't know, like the 30s or something, the 30s or 40s, artists, like actors and people, they decided they wanted to go outside of the studio system and make their own studio. So that's how United Artists came to be. It was run by, I forget who it was. I want to say Mary Pickford. I forget which actors it was, but they did that on it, but they banded together. I'm not saying people even need to, I mean, people could do that, but they don't need to anymore, because the way everybody knows how to edit, I mean, let's say you've been a film director or a film producer even, you know what to do already. You could hire a handful of people to edit together and produce the kind of movies you want to do. It wouldn't cost you that much money. You don't have to go through the system and do all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, if you want to make a big movie, it's going to cost a lot of money, but there are people who could do that. The classic thing in Hollywood is that you're not supposed to fund your own movies, or you're not supposed to put your own money into it. But there's some people that just have so much money at this point, they could do it themselves. They don't need to write a script and, go to a studio and get it greenlit. They don't need to do that anymore. I mean, the way people watch content now, they don't have to have everything sparkling clean and, perfect effects and everything like that. You don't need to do all that effects-driven crap. You could just build from the ground up. Now, I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I'm just saying I had noticed in this exodus that people have made from California, that recently a very big movie star, whose movie I already mentioned, just moved to Florida. And he knows how to protect. I made a new word. He knows how to produce. He knows how to direct. He wrote one of the greatest movies of all time. Starred in it. That's how he became famous. He just recently moved, like I said, to Florida. Florida has much more lenient COVID restrictions. He could get people to work with him at the drop of a hat. Um, he is not politically involved, but I do believe he's more on the Republican side of things. And at this point in his career, he doesn't have to give a shit what anybody says. They try to cancel him, it didn't work. Um, so, I mean, I'm not mentioning any names, but there's some people who are so famous for so long and so beloved by the people, they'll never be expendable. And I think that would be a great person to not necessarily start a new studio, but be one to go ahead and make his own big movie. He could do it, you know, with the interest he collects, probably, you know. So, there's people like that, but there are people who, and again, this isn't about politics. Doesn't have to just be conservative people, because as these guys were saying, like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers brought up that he really believes that she has sort of blazed a trail here, and I think he's right, because like I said, didn't think this was going to happen. I was taken aback and I got scared for a minute, but like I said, I think she's an Aries. It was an Aries move if she is Gina Carano, and I'm a little bit too chicken for that. Because I'm a Sagittarius. Yeah, I have fire, not that kind, but it's she may inspire people who are high above her on the chain to do more independent things, and I'm here for it. I mean, I don't know if I'll be around. I don't know what the world's going to look like, but in a year or so. But if everything's going to go streaming anyway, you're not going to need distributors. You're not going to need all that junk for your movies. If people are going to be consuming films now by way of streaming primarily, you don't need a studio. You don't need to go through that system, And if people realize that the system may have killed themselves by canceling people, because there's no need. Like I said, if you're big enough, if you're smart enough, if you know how to do it already, anybody who's made a huge blockbuster, excuse me, of any kind, they know how to do it already. When I think of the kind of people who have made movies, I mean, he's obviously, again, working with Disney now, Robert Rodriguez, but we saw how he made his movies years ago, where he basically did it all himself except the acting, this is the perfect time for people to do things like that. Who else? I mean, Kevin Smith is somebody who had made his movies for, I think he charged them in the beginning, and Clerks is still one of his most beloved films, as cheap as it was. So there are people here who now have a substantial amount of money. They know what to do. They know how to do it. And I'm not saying they have to be against Hollywood, or they have to be conservative or Republican or anything like that, but just the fact that she's, kind of giving Hollywood the fingers, like, you can't cancel me, I cancel myself, you can't fire me, I quit, was very bold and very brave, and it's something to look to say, you can't take power away from me unless I give it to you. And that's basically what she did. And it would be really great if other people followed suit. Like I said, there's plenty of people out there, plenty of people who, they don't need the system anymore. Some of them didn't even start in the system. They made independent movies and were bought. People can do that right now. They can make their independent movie and shop it around. That's gone on for years. That's what Sundance was supposed to be about, but people don't need to do that anymore. The internet is there for anybody at any time to just make their own thing and put it out there. So I would love to see that. Like we think of all the people who are supposed to be evil Republicans. They were great actors. James Woods, great actor. Oliver Stone, I don't know what happened. I don't know why he voted for Biden. But he used to be, somebody who would stick it to the man, and he had that attitude, and that'd be great if he did again. And I think, any of these people who've been canceled, I mean, they canceled a bunch of people last week. They canceled, they're trying to cancel Armie Hammer. Army Hammer got money. He had money. He was born with money. So any of these people want to go on their own, they can. There's enough people by now to just say, let's make our own studio. Let's do it individually by ourselves. Or even people who haven't been canceled and who just see this window and say, hey, you know what? Why am I putting up with this shit? Why am I worrying all day long? You know? Because you have to. That's the only way you can stop being afraid of something. You know? Is if you say, well, if I'm worried about them firing me, I'll just quit and then I don't have to be afraid anymore. You know? It's true. And I really do hope that it does inspire some people, you know, to just go ahead and do their own thing. Make the movies they've always wanted to make that they weren't able to because it stayed in what they call development hell for years. And, you know, there's enough actors and producers and people like that who are quietly, you know, conservative, or, you know, they don't really get involved, and they're massive. Like I said, they're stars that have their net worth, even before any kind of investments people made during the pandemic, they were worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they could bankroll things for other people as well. You know, anybody who doesn't want to be, you know, beholden to the system, beholden to, you know, the dark entities that I believe are trying to control Hollywood and control everybody, would be great if they went ahead and did that. So, you know, I hope that people can keep punching, and we'll see if anything comes of it. But I really do think that it would be great if people took inspiration from what she did, because that was pretty. I mean, like I said, I still got scared. I was like, oh no, because it's a bold move. It's a bold move, and I wish I was that strong. I really do. I really do. We'll see what happens.